Have you ever felt overlooked, like your talents and importance weren't being recognized by the world? It's a frustrating feeling, right? Well, today we're diving into a classic fable that explores this very idea, but with a twist you might not expect. It's the story of The Rat and the Elephant, a tale that's as relevant today as it was centuries ago. It's not just a story for kids. It's a powerful lesson about perception, ego, and understanding our true place in the grand scheme of things. So grab a comfy seat and let's unravel this timeless piece of wisdom together. It might just change the way you see yourself and others. Our story begins on a busy road, the King's Highway, bustling with travelers and merchants. Along this very road, a certain rat was making his way. Now this wasn't just any rat. He was a creature of immense pride, carrying himself with an air of significance that was quite amusing for someone of his small stature, and let's be honest, the rather poor reputation his kind generally held. He strutted along, keeping mostly to the side ditch, but in his mind, he was the master of the road, a truly important figure on a grand journey. He saw himself not as a small rodent, but as a distinguished gentleman, deserving of respect and admiration from all who crossed his path. As Mr. Rat continued his self-important stroll, he suddenly heard a growing noise up ahead. A rumble, cheers, a sense of excitement filling the air. His whiskers twitched with curiosity. What could be causing such a great commotion? Soon, a magnificent procession came into view, a spectacle of color and sound. It was the king himself, traveling with his entire royal retinue. The sight was breathtaking. Banners flew, musicians played, and at the very center of it all was the main attraction, the reason for all the fuss. The king wasn't in a carriage or on a horse. No, he was riding high upon a colossal elephant. This was no ordinary elephant. It was adorned with the most gorgeous trappings you could imagine. Silken cloths of vibrant reds and golds draped over its back, embroidered with intricate patterns. Jewels sparkled in the sunlight, hanging from its ears and tusks. Even its harness was a work of art, studded with precious stones. Perched atop this majestic beast, in a luxurious, canopied seat called a howdah, sat the king, and with the king, enjoying the royal view, were two other privileged animals, the royal dog and the royal cat. They too looked regal, basking in the glory of the procession. A huge crowd of people followed, their faces filled with awe and admiration. The crowd was completely captivated. Every eye was fixed on the gigantic elephant. People pointed, they gasped, they cheered for the magnificent creature. They were so taken up with its sheer size, its gentle power, and its splendid decorations, that absolutely no one noticed the small rat scurrying in the ditch by the side of the road. And this, our proud little friend could not stand. His pride, so inflated just moments before, was now deeply, painfully hurt. How could they ignore him? Him! He felt a surge of indignation. All this attention for a big, lumbering animal, while he, a creature of refined importance, went completely unseen. What a bunch of fools! He squeaked to himself, his voice trembling with frustration. He glared at the adoring crowd and then at the elephant. "Just look at me," he cried, though no one could hear him over the cheers. If you'd only pay attention, you would soon forget all about that clumsy elephant. What's so special about him anyway? He tried to understand the crowd's fascination, but his envy blinded him. Is it just his great size that makes your eyes pop out of your heads? Is that all it takes to impress you people? Or maybe, he scoffed, it's his wrinkly gray hide you find so fascinating. What a joke! His jealousy was boiling over. In his frustration, the rat started comparing himself to the giant creature, trying to prove his own worth. "Why, I have eyes and ears, just like he does," he reasoned. "And I have legs, 4 of them, the same number as him? We are practically the same." He puffed out his chest, trying to make himself look bigger, more significant. "I am of just as much importance as he is, if not more. My agility, my cleverness, these are qualities far superior to brute size." He was working himself into a frenzy of self-justification, convinced that he was the one who truly deserved the admiration of the crowd. In fact, he declared to the uncaring world, "I am," but his grand declaration was cut short. As he was busy proclaiming his own greatness, a pair of sharp green eyes from the howdah above had spotted him. It was the royal cat. The cat, who had been lounging lazily beside the king, was suddenly alert. It saw the flash of movement in the ditch, the small furry creature posturing with indignation. With the swift, silent grace that all cats possess, it leaped from the moving howdah. The movement was a blur of fur and muscle. The rat had been so consumed by his own wounded pride, so focused on the elephant and the crowd, that he hadn't noticed the predator watching him from above. In the very next instant, before he could even finish his sentence about how important he was, the rat found himself face to face with the royal cat. There was a flash of claws, a sudden sharp realization. In that final terrifying moment, the rat learned a very harsh lesson. He knew, with absolute certainty, that he was not quite so important as an elephant. His arguments, his comparisons, his inflated sense of self, they all vanished in the face of immediate deadly danger. The cat, a mere accessory to the elephant's grandeur, was more than enough to end his entire world. And so, our story ends with a small silent space in the ditch where a proud rat once stood. The moral of this story is a simple but profound one. A resemblance to the great in some things does not make us great. The rat was right, in a way. He did have eyes, ears, and 4 legs, just like the elephant. But listing a few superficial similarities doesn't equate to true significance or stature. The rat's downfall was his pride and his inability to see the world beyond his own ego. He measured his worth by the attention he received, and when he didn't get it, he became bitter and envious. He failed to appreciate his own life and his own path because he was too busy comparing himself to someone else. This fable serves as a powerful reminder for all of us. In our own lives, it's easy to look at people who seem to have it all, the success, the admiration, the gorgeous trappings, and feel small or overlooked. We might start comparing our own traits to theirs, saying, "I'm just as smart," or "I work just as hard." But true self-worth doesn't come from external validation or from being just like someone else. It comes from understanding and appreciating our own unique journey, our own strengths, and our own place in the world, no matter how big or small it may seem. Trying to claim importance you haven't earned often just makes you look foolish, or worse, puts you in a vulnerable position. Just like the poor rat who caught the eye of a cat. True greatness is quiet, confident, and doesn't need to shout for attention. So the next time you find yourself feeling like that rat in the ditch, overlooked while a big parade goes by, take a moment. Instead of getting angry or envious, perhaps just enjoy the spectacle. Appreciate the greatness of others without letting it diminish your own sense of self. Your journey is your own, and it's not a competition. There's no need to compare your size or your trappings to anyone else's. Just be the best version of yourself, and be wary of the royal cats that are drawn to loud, misplaced pride. Focus on your own path, and you'll find that your importance isn't measured by the roar of the crowd, but by the quiet confidence within. Thank you so much for joining me for this story and reflection today. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more fables and life lessons. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever felt like the rat? How did you handle it? Let's share and learn from each other. Until next time, take care and walk your own path with quiet confidence.